Hello everyone, this is Mrs. McTutor. Today we are going to talk about the ELA Regents exam, Part 1, Reading Comprehension. What is Part 1 really testing? Part 1 of the ELA Regents tests whether students can read attentively, understand ideas in context, connect questions to evidence, choose the best answer, not just a true one, and we'll be talking about that. I want to point out that this presentation focuses on real reading strategies, not shortcuts or gimmicks. I have seen a lot of videos that are teaching tricks and shortcuts and things like that. I really haven't seen evidence in my classroom of those tricks helping my students. So, if we're being tested on how well we can read, I think it's most important to focus on some real reading strategies. So on the Regents exam, there are always 3 passages, passage A, B, and C. Passage A will always be literary, passage B will always be a poem, passage C will always be informational nonfiction, for a total of 24 multiple choice questions. The most common questions in Part 1 are, typically, author's purpose, making inferences, finding evidence in a text, vocabulary and context, and literary techniques, literary elements that are used in the text. Although there are many others, these tend to show up quite frequently on the Regents exam. Techniques or literary elements such as conflict, both internal and external, theme, symbolism, point of view, characterization, figurative language like metaphors, similes, personification, hyperbole, anecdotes, setting, diction, imagery, contrast, repetition, mood, tone, irony, structure, shift, and flashback. We see these often. And when you do, you want to ask yourself, what does this help the author to show? Authors use literary elements on purpose. Each element helps to reveal some kind of meaning. So when you do see the use of literary elements, ask yourself, what does this show about the character, the idea, or the situation? We want to be thinking, active readers. So if you do notice the use of a literary element, if you see it there, you have to pause and ask yourself, what does this show? What does this emphasize about the situation, about the story, about the character? This kind of thinking turns noticing into understanding. The most essential reading strategy, in my opinion, is annotating. So what is annotating? Annotating is the most effective reading strategy. It's taking notes while you read. It involves active thinking reading. And it involves one of my favorite words, metacognition. You should use this word, it's a great word. Metacognition just means thinking about your own thinking. So as you're reading and thinking, you can ask yourself, do I understand this? What does this mean? I didn't get that. Should I read that again? Right? That's metacognition, just thinking about your own thinking, realizing if you're understanding or if you're not understanding. You might not always have as many annotations as you see on this page here on this screen, but let's just not skip over it. Let's just take a look. I do like some of these annotations here for the poem. You can pause and of course read this poem if you like, but I'm just going to look at some of these annotations, right? You can see in the first stanza that whoever is reading this put the notes isolated, don't fit in, misunderstood, right? If you get an impression like that, you just jot down that impression right there in the margin. The second stanza on the left, fierce, angry, determined. You see them notice a simile. They down below, I can picture that wall, right? These are all beautiful annotations of a deep reading, thinking reader. On the right hand, you can see that they're noticing that repetition is being used. They're noting other ideas that are being repeated, that it's very visual. Each keeps the other strong. Again, we don't have to read all of these, but I love down at the bottom where they circled something that was very meaningful to them. The trees are a symbol to the author. So as you're thinking, as you're figuring out what the poem is about, you're just jotting down your ideas as you go. And that just helps you to be more active, more tuned in, and you will understand more of what you read. So again, we're talking about strategies that actually help you become a better reader. We don't want to do tricks and gimmicks, but annotating is a strategy that really can help you if you give it a go and keep trying. All right, here is a Regents text. This comes from a previous Regents exam. You can see it's annotated. We have highlighted important information that stands out, and then just some notes in the margins. So how to annotate on the Regents exam. Highlight key ideas. Not going to highlight everything. Look for main ideas, turning points, repeating words. Write short notes in the margin. You don't want to make lengthy annotations. Just keep it short. Looking for conflict, tone shift, symbol, author's point. Track key ideas and techniques as you read. Don't just spot them. Note what they show. So again, just that little thought of what this might mean or what this might emphasize in the margin. It goes a long way in helping you understand. Ask yourself, why did the author include this? Why did the author include this? All the things that authors do are done on purpose. Then you get to the part where you're going to read the questions, and reading the question carefully really matters. So read the question first slowly. It's a good idea to circle or highlight what the question is asking, right? To kind of annotating your questions to focus in on what is being asked of me. Look for keywords like most likely, this best supports, this suggests, reveals, or contributes to. Okay, you really want to hone in on what is being asked of you. Now, every correct answer, of course, is based on the text. You might not be able to find it in the text because it might be inferential, but it does relate to the text. So you want to go back to the part of the text that the question is referring to. Don't try to do it from memory, as I see many students do. Oh, I remember that part of the story, and they feel like they don't have to go back. You do want to go back. I do think that the test is testing to see if you go back sometimes as well. So reread before choosing an answer. And when you do go back to the lines that they tell you to go to, I would suggest backing up a little bit further. So start a few lines before to get the full context of that section of the text. Okay, underline, recheck evidence in the passage. You might want to annotate a little bit more of that section as you're deciding how to go about answering the question. Eliminate choices that are clearly wrong. You may see some choices that are clearly wrong, but you also have to watch out for answers that are only partially correct. Okay, because sometimes you'll see several choices that have truth to them. They're not always going to be obviously wrong, some of the choices. So if you see some that are clearly wrong, cross them off. But watch for answers that are only partially correct. Some answers might sound right, but they don't fully answer the question. So choose the answer that is most accurate and most supported by the text. Oftentimes we end up with kind of two answers that are both correct, and you have to choose which one is most correct. And again, this can be hard to do, and it's going to be harder to do if you're trying to do it with tricks and gimmicks, right? You really do have to be a thinking, active reader in order to decide which would be the more correct of two correct answers. I hope you realize that point. All right, putting it all together for part one. Okay, we can only use these real, authentic strategies to try to improve and be successful at the reading comprehension. Okay, so read actively. Be active thinking readers, right? Annotate as you go. That helps you to be a thinking, active reader. Slow down. Read the questions carefully. Okay, you want to circle keywords as you're reading those questions. Go back to the text for evidence and context. Make sure you back up a few lines to get the full context. Use process of elimination, but realize some answers will be there that are only partially correct. Okay, so you have to work on choosing the answer that is most accurate and best supported, which is going to use a lot of thinking. Okay, but you can do this. Just keep practicing and stay positive, because I know that you can do this. If you found this video to be helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I will keep making these videos if you find them helpful. Thank you for visiting.